Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1996's Beautiful Girls. And as a special gift to our viewers, I know it was special for me, Corey, and I know you weren't able to make it, but we interviewed the writer, or I interviewed the writer, and it was interesting to say the least. So let's play the interview, and then we'll get into the review and do our thing. But so you'll see this interview for the first time, as our viewers will too. So let's cut to the interview.
How you doing, fella? It's a pleasure for you to have me on your show. I'm going to establish some things real quick here before we get into it. First, all right. I'm the alpha male, as demonstrated by my very macho movie, Beautiful Girls.
That's false.
Number two, okay? Everybody wants to know. Right, why'd you make this fucking movie? It's about fucking beautiful girls? What are you talking about? And my answer to that is, everybody likes a beautiful girl, right? Right? You like a beautiful girl, whether they're 13, whether they're fucking 27, you love a beautiful girl.
Not a chance.
So what was the motivation to actually write this script? Just beautiful girls?
All right, so here's the deal. I had this fucking bitch, right? I was dating her, but I'm fucking somebody on the side like you do, because you don't treat your wife like that. What, am I going to put that in your mouth and then kiss you? That's fucking disgusting. So what I did was, I was fucking a hooah. But this fucking beautiful girl got all upset at me, right? How could you do that? Why would you do that? And the answer is simple. I'm a fucking alpha male, right? I fucking eat potato chips. I fucking drink beer. I don't give a shit.
Good.
So I wrote a movie to explain myself and to help out fuckers like you. Because guys like you need to understand. It's very clear. I got a lot of potato chips in my mouth right now.
It's
very
cool.
clear. Hey, hold on. Whoa. Alpha male's talking. So, I wrote this for guys like you to get out of fucking trouble with your girls. Because guys like you don't understand guys like me. You want to be guys like me. But you can never be it unless you watch Beautiful Girls. And that's the message of this show, right? Right?
Cool
Right?
story, bro. Cool story, bro.
Yo, that guy's a fucking asshole. And literally what I expected the writer of this movie to be like. Handsome as shit, though.
Yeah. I thought he was ugly as hell, but, that's just me.
Yes.
Before we get into the actual movie, if you want to follow me or Corey, you could on Twitter. You could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idol. And here is the star-studded cast of Beautiful Girls. This film stars Matt Dillon as Tommy Birdman Rowland, Timothy Hutton as Willie Conway, Noah Emmerick as Michael Mo Morris, Michael Rapaport as Paul Kirkwood, Lauren Holly as Darian Smalls, Natalie Portman as Marty, Martha Plimpton as Jan, Rosie O'Donnell as Gina, Mira Sorvino as Sharon, Uma Thurman as Andrea, with an appearance by David Arquette as Bobby Conway. With a cast like this, this should have been a very good movie.
Yes, it really should have been. This is what happens when you're under contract as an actor and can't say no.
That's the only thing that I could figure out as to why there are so many really, really good actors in this movie. Because it wasn't because the script was good.
No, this dude, we're going to get into it, but
yes,
there are almost scene-by-scene problems with this entire movie.
Yes.
I mean, this review could be longer than the movie if we really wanted it to.
Okay, and let's jump into it. So the movie opens at this restaurant/bar in New York City. Willie's sitting behind the piano. He's counting his tips for the night. And then he heads to the Greyhound station to buy a ticket back to his hometown to go to his high school reunion. We then meet a few of his friends who we see haven't really moved on or grown up since high school. And these bitches are like in their 30s.
Yeah, the reason this was titled Beautiful Girls is because addled boys didn't test well. Because that's what this is. These are the most addled men I have ever seen. Like literal Arrested Development personified.
Yes.
In all of these male characters.
We see Birdman, who owns this snowplow company. He's also plowing Darian Smalls, who's this married chick with a kid that they went to high school with. And you also have Paul, who drives by his ex's place every night to block her garage door in with snow because she's banging Victor, the meat cutter.
And Matt Dillon's character is basically Al Bundy.
Yes. High school quarterback.
Never fucking made it to anything. The only difference is he's way better looking, so he still gets to fuck.
Yes.
That's pretty much the only difference.
Yes.
And Michael Rapaport, what is it? Because I love Michael Rapaport.
So do I.
I think he's a fantastic actor. I really do. I think it's a shame he doesn't get more parts. But what is it about him in like the mid to late 90s where he's just playing horrible, unlikable people?
He's basically
whether it's a Remy in Higher Learning or this fucking turd who might be worse. And Remy was a fucking Nazi. This guy is horrible.
Well, and he's like the guy who got rejected from the Goodwill Hunting group of friends. Like he was too much for them. So they were like, okay, you need to go hang out with these other people. But
and like, why do people in movies always listen to the moron? Like this guy is clearly the idiot of the crew.
Yes.
But when he starts waxing philosophical about men and women, everybody's like, fuck, man, he's got it. Like, he's onto something here. It's like, no, he's just telling you what you want to hear to make up for your bullshit.
Yes. And, well, and the only one friend of Willie's who seems to be normal is Mo.
Yes.
And, like, we see Mo picking up Willie at the bus station. We see that, like, he's, like, the most mature. He's got a house, a family. He looks to be pretty responsible and... You know, so like you have the one friend who's like normal out of all of these people. Willie gets dropped off at home and he bounces literally like an hour later. Like it seems like he hasn't seen his family in a long time and hasn't been back home in a long time. He's there for an hour and then he's like, dude, I gotta go. My family's weird as hell. You got the weird dad who's just like, oh, let's watch golf on TV. You got David Arquette, who I was just like, I don't know how this character was written. I'm not sure if he's like got like mental issues or he's just like this moron younger brother. Like it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, no, I don't know why his character even existed.
It didn't need to be there.
No.
There's a lot of these characters that didn't need to be there, but...
No, all he does is basically sexually harass Jared from Subway's girlfriend when she shows up at the end because she's the first woman to set foot in the house that actually cooked them a meal. Which seems to be like the main detail in this. Like, if you are what is affectionately known as an incel these days... You fucking love this movie.
Hell yes.
This was a forest through the trees moment, so many of these movies in the 90s, because that's really when we were coming up and like aware of things in the world. Yeah. Most nouns in the world we understood were there.
Yeah.
And so watching this shit now, it's just like, dude, this wasn't how it was.
No.
Was it?
I mean... Not where I grew up. I mean,
no.
And we were goddamn animals, and it still wasn't like this.
No.
But we then meet Marty, the next door neighbor girl who's 12 or 13.
He's not a pervert. She's 13.
At least she's hit her teen years. She tries to break the ice with Willie by like she's being a nosy asshole. And it was just like, yeah, and he engages in the conversation because apparently he's just the giant pedophile. And he was just like, dude, you're a hot 13-year-old. Cool, let me engage in this conversation. when he should have just said, hey, mind your fucking business. Get in your house. Get out of here.
Or like, oh, you're a cute kid. You're pretty fucking witty. Now piss off.
Yeah, exactly.
Ditch him without being mean, but you still are ditching him, and everybody's happy. But this is like, dude, by the second conversation, you are actively trying to seduce this girl.
Absolutely. And
become enraged when she dares to talk to a boy her own age.
Who's the guy? Seemed a little short.
He's 12 years old, Willie.
Oh, right.
We're at the first conversation, and I'm still wondering, who the fuck am I rooting for here? Like, is she about to pull a hard candy on this pedo? And, like, she's going to end up cutting his nuts off? Because that's awesome. But otherwise, what is happening? All of these male characters are dicks.
And we see in the next, fragmented scene, we see Paul going to see his ex, Jan, at the diner to give her an engagement ring to try to save the relationship. And she says no to Paul's shitty proposal. And
I'm sorry. We gotta stop you real fast.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, guys. Uncle Corey here. If you have been dumped by your female or partner, companion, whatever, for not committing to the relationship, the worst possible thing to do is storm into her place of work, thrust a brown engagement ring in her face.
It's brown.
Champagne. That's champagne. It's the newest thing. Champagne. It's not brown.
Champagne.
Yes.
But you're thrusting a shit-colored fucking diamond into her face. And expecting her to be, what? Overjoyed. That you have finally decided that you don't like the fact that she's fucking another guy. That's the main problem. And I cannot stress this enough, guys. You will never like when your ex whatever is fucking another guy until you start fucking another girl.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty much how it works. So this whole, I'm going to go to her place of business and just completely embarrass the shit out of her?
Yeah.
That's not as Shakespearean as you think. That's fucking disgusting.
He basically ran out of options, and he realized that he had no other options, so
dude,
why not?
He would have been better served to just open the door and go, bitch! And then close the door and leave.
And then we cut to Tommy and Willie. They go to the local bar owned by their old friend Stanley. They grab a drink. They see Paul and Kevin. And Paul and Tommy argue about their situations. And again, this is just another fragmented scene. It jumps from Paul with the ring at the diner, then they're at the bar, and then the next morning, it just cuts to the next morning when Willie sees Marty again.
Yeah, there's really nothing.
Just jump cut to
consequence happening, and it's not even good exposition.
No, it's just
not. Everybody's a whiny bitch, and they don't know why.
Yes. So Willie then sees Marty again the next day. She continues peppering him with questions, and he loves the attention, so he's going with it. If I was in his situation, when he walks away and he walks by the snowman, I would have looked at her and then punched the head off the snowman and kept walking. Like that's where I'm at as a 30-something, man who's getting questioned by a 13-year-old girl. It's another life lesson from Corey.
Hi, adults. Uncle Corey here. In this day and age, we have to get to this quickly. In this day and age, don't talk to children.
No.
And if you are next door, if you are neighbors with them, fine. Do you know their parents at all? Have you ever met them?
Yes.
If the answer is no, stop speaking to their kid. Fucking unless that kid has broken his arm or leg or some shit that he needs or she needs your immediate medical attention.
Yes. Well, and establish.
Don't engage them in conversation. This isn't the time. This isn't the age to do that. They're disgusting human beings running around.
Yes.
And you are going to get labeled as Jeffrey Epstein quicker than shit.
It then cuts to Tommy and Sharon. They're arguing about him still banging Darian, and she then goes to her friends and asks for advice. They tell her to leave Tommy, but she decides since, his birthday's coming up, she's going to give it one more try. And here is a don't do that for everybody.
Armando agrees with Rosie O'Donnell.
Hi, everybody. That is in a relationship that, isn't going really well. And you go to your friends for advice. Like, hey, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, is a kind of a piece of shit and I don't know what to do. Like, I love him, I love her, whatever. When somebody says, or if you say, you don't know what it's like when it's just the two of us, that relationship is never going to end good. It's always going to end poorly.
You sound like an abused housewife.
Exactly. And again, like in this situation, Tommy's not abusing, but he's cheating on her constantly with this other chick. And she's just like, I mean, I know he is, but but when it's just the two of us, like, yeah, because he wants to bang you when it's just the two of you. Like,
yeah, exactly. He is mentally beating the shit out of you.
Yes.
And he's priming you just to understand what you're worth. And this is what's killer about this scene is she's like, I love him, but bitch, he don't love you.
Yes.
That's the thing. He loves himself too much to even come close to loving you because he's still trying to dig out his fucking ex-girlfriend, thinking that's somehow going to magically solve his problems.
It then cuts to the boys hanging out at Stanley's bar again. They're all talking, and in walks Stanley's cousin, Andrea. The guys all drool over her. Stanley introduces her to the guys. She then asks Willie to play something on the piano while she basically steals booze from the bar. Corey, you watch Bar Rescue, okay? I've only seen a few episodes of Bar Rescue, but the whole, give me the whole bottle and I'm just pouring free shots for everybody, that's a big no-no, according to Bar Rescue.
Oh, John Taffer would go, that's how you're losing your money!
You are a failure in here, and everything about this is a failure.
We then see Gina going off on her thoughts about big boobs and asses and how everything guys like them love to see with women is total bullshit.
This is the most accurate sentence, monologue, paragraph, whatever you want to call it, written in this entire movie.
Yes.
Because it's true.
No, it's absolutely true.
Open up that magazine. You don't even have to open up that kind of magazine. Open up fucking any magazine with Kim Kardashian on the motherfucker. Okay? I met her. Guess what? That ain't it.
You were right.
Just stop believing in the fucking myths and the fantasy. And that goes for everyone. I don't care what your sexual preference is, what your gender is. Stop believing in this fantasy dream thing that's going to fall into your fucking lap.
Yeah, there is no perfect world, perfect person, or perfect anything. And it then cuts to Sharon taking Tommy to the local VFW for his surprise birthday party. And everything is going great until Darian shows up and is all over Tommy. Jan sees this and she bounces with her friends.
We have to talk about, too, the fact that on the way to the surprise party, he is being such a fucking asshole.
Well, she says, I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, can you go to the VFW? I got to take a piss. And he's like, your fucking stomach problems, which they keep alluding to her having some eating disorder, but they never really talk about it. But I'm not even going to make this a PSA. It's just a solid piece of advice. If somebody has an eating disorder or any kind of issue like that, don't fucking berate them for having it. You wouldn't berate a guy for having PTSD, so don't fucking berate this chick for having a fucking eating disorder. But anyway, he decides to. And then covers it up with the classic abuser way of, hey, look, I'm just looking out for you, okay? I care for you. I care. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just want to go where the fuck you're going, and you don't want to have to stop to, I don't know, let your girlfriend piss? If we are in a car together and you don't let me fucking pee, here's what's going to happen. I'm peeing on your car, and then I'm telling you that your fucking birthday surprise thing was just going to happen back there, but now you got to go get your car detailed because I just took a giant piss and shit in it. That's right. Team Amber Heard.
My dog stepped on a bee.
So Tommy then takes Darian home, and she lets him know that no one's home and she's ready to bang, and he tells her to get out and doesn't end up sleeping with her.
And she starts explaining here how careful she is. Like, he doesn't even know. It's no... Dude, you walked into a crowded room shit-faced and stuck your fucking tongue down Matt fucking Dillon's throat.
Yes.
I think everybody knows. This is a pretty small town, but even if you were in Manhattan, everybody would be like, yo, I'm going to be telling her husband Steve what the fuck I just saw. Because that ain't right.
Exactly.
That shit was crazy. She walked in like Marilyn Monroe blew up JFK spot with that happy birthday bullshit.
Cut to Willie talking to Mo at the VFW about Marty. He says here that he'll wait until she's old enough to date her?
Dude, he is rationalizing this in his... That's psychotic behavior. Literally what psychopaths do is rationalize horrible shit to justify whatever action they're about to take.
Yeah.
Here's a don't do that with Armando.
Hi, everybody. If you're at a place and it's just you and one of your friends, and they're talking about being in love with or liking like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, but they'll wait until he or she's 18 so that they can bang and just don't do, like, Mo kind of does the right thing here. He was like, dude, you're a fucking psycho. Don't do that. Just call the cops and be like, hey, this is Minority Report. I'm reporting this before the crime actually happens, but it's gonna happen. Like, that's what you should do.
I need Dateline cameras and a Hanson sitting in front of a fucking table with lemonade and cookies trying to catch this motherfucker, because this shit is gone. Wait.
This was 1996. Like, AOL was like just starting to be a thing. Like, if that was now, Willie would be caught up in a case because he drove 4 states away to meet a 13-year-old girl that he met online in some chat room. We then get the scene at the lake where his friends are ice fishing, and then he sees Marty. He runs over to talk to her like Woody Allen at a stepdaughter convention, and they have this weird conversation about him waiting for her to turn 18 to start dating. And like, dude, this whole interaction, jumping from the bar conversation with Mo to this, it's just a series of like head tilting as I'm watching this going, how did this get greenlit? Like, this is so fucking weird.
Oh, it's like, it just turns into his fan, like, his dream comes true.
Yes.
I didn't even have to look up that Rot Fuckbottom wrote this fucking movie. I knew exactly the type of person that wrote this movie.
Yes.
Because there's no, like, he's admonished by, like, one friend, and then everybody else just kind of makes it, hey, is that fucking Lolita? It's like, what is happening here? This is not okay. And in no friendship group is this normal conversation.
No.
And when she does approach him and it's like, oh, you're my boyfriend now. Okay, we know who fucking wrote this. It's fucking disgusting. And shame on whoever didn't fucking pull Natalie Portman out of this goddamn movie.
No shit. Like, shame on her agent for like, hey, we got this script that looks fantastic. I think you should totally do it. So we cut to the bar. Paul takes Andrea there on a date to obviously show her off in front of his ex, Jan. Andrea catches on to all his bullshit, and he finally explains what he's doing. She then helps him out with his whole plot and takes him on the dance floor to make Jan jealous, and Jan gets pissed and leaves.
It's another life lesson from Corey.
Hi, guys. Uncle Corey here. It is imperative that you have a girl who is a friend. A woman friend is not a bad thing. I have tons of female friends where nothing even remotely close to sexual has happened, but they are all cool as fuck. And you know why? Because most guys only want to fuck them.
Yes.
So this move here by what's her name? Andrea.
Yeah. Can't you just call her Andrea? Can't we just call her Andrea?
Right. Well, I'm gonna call her Uma, okay? Just for shits and gigs. So the move here that Uma makes is a very, like, she's not like the coolest chick in the world. No,
it's
that's
a solid move.
It's a standard girl move who is your friend.
Yes.
Because they're cool as shit when that stuff comes up. They get it.
Yep. Well, and then after she does like the cool, solid move of taking him on the dance floor, make Jan jealous, Paul decides to take a fucking victory lap and tries to make out with Andrea, and she gets pissed and she storms off.
Rightfully so. And know your place. Think to yourself. And before you make a move, this is a good thing to do. This is what I do sometimes. Before you make a move, run to the restroom and look at yourself in the mirror. And then go back out and look at who she is. And then understand that the move is probably not a great idea.
If you know what, it's solid advice, Corey, but if I took your advice, I would never leave the house. The amount of hate that I shoot at myself when I see myself in the mirror is ridiculous.
But when you do leave the house, you're way more respectful of a human being to other people.
I know my place. I know my place. My
You're not going like, oh, ass and titties, I should grab those because she naturally wants to fuck me. You're like, nobody wants to see my dick. I'm not even going to look at you.
No, the self-loathing for me is a 9 out of 10 at all times.
That's why we're boys.
Tommy then meets with Darian in a library and tells her that he feels like a piece of shit for fucking with her, and he breaks it off with her. And here's another don't do that from me.
Here's more things you shouldn't do.
Hi, everybody that's banging married people, or if you have kids. Listen, at the end of the day, don't bring your kids to a meeting with the person that you're cheating on your spouse with. A, it's just not cool. B, if you're okay with like getting caught, cool, bring your kids. Because at some point she's going to be like, hey, mommy and the Birdman were at the library together and they were, touching each other's privates or whatever the hell. Like, don't bring your kids to a meeting with the person you're cheating on your spouse with. That's just fucking dumb.
It's gross too. Like, everything in this is so weird. And this is my biggest problem with it. Not one female in this movie actually acts like a female I've ever met in my life.
The only one that does is Rosie O'Donnell.
Exactly. Exactly. And they gave her 2 scenes because she was too real.
You're right.
And this isn't like women are on such a higher plane than us and blah, blah. No, but there are human beings.
Yes.
And they should be written as such. And if you can't write a woman, don't fucking put them in your stories.
That cut back to Stanley's bar. It's empty. Willie's playing the piano and Dira comes in for a drink. They sit and talk for a minute. And after getting shot down a couple of times from his advances, he asks her to go ice fishing. So they go into the little shed. They talk some more. They start to get a little deep about relationships and things. And she takes off after one more failed attempt by Willie.
Which, by the way, what would be more romantic than having sex on the ice in a shack? I don't know. A heater in a bed, you fucking animal.
You were correct. It's fact.
I actually have a theory. I'm sorry. This just came to me. Willie was never trying to fuck Uma. That was never in his plan whatsoever. He's setting up an alibi for when he fucks Marty.
You know what? Totally believable.
He knew she was never going to have sex with him. And it's just like, I'm going to keep harassing her. So it seems like I was really into, an adult female. So when I do get accused of fucking a 13-year-old girl, I can be like, what are you talking about? Here's my character witness right here.
Yep.
I'm on to you, you pervert.
The next day, we see Tracy, Willie's girlfriend. She comes down to see him and go to the high school reunion with him. They have dinner with Willie's family. And as Willie gets ready to go out, he sees Marty and creepily flirts with her again from his window, like shouts down to her. And
Like, oh, it's a 180 Romeo and Juliet. It's a fucking reverse Romeo and Juliet. I don't know. Don't mention Romeo and Juliet at all because you're a fucking adult talking to a 13-year-old girl from your fucking window. Pervert.
So we finally get to the reunion. Thank Christ. And all it is literally just the cast of people that we've seen through this movie. It's weird one-liners, dumb conversations. I mean, so basically like a real high school reunion, but it's just, this whole high school reunion scene is just weird. And then Darian gets called like mean as a snake.
But if you don't mind me saying, mean as a snake.
Well, like this character comes out of nowhere and was like, hey, remember me? I used to be Fat Rob. Now I'm medium Fat Rob. And you used to pick on me and it's cool, but I wanted to let you know, you're fucking mean, lady. You're mean.
Listen, and you can have that conversation.
Cool.
I wouldn't know.
Her arc's done. She finally realized because Fat Rob approached her at the high school reunion and said, you used to pick on me. Oh my God, everything I've been doing is wrong.
Well, and I wouldn't know if this conversation would ever take place at a high school reunion because I've never been to any of mine because I don't care. But in my head, how this conversation goes is, hey, do you remember me? I was Fat Rob. I'm medium Fat Rob now. And you were mean as fuck. So why don't you go fuck yourself, bitch? And like, it's not like you were mean as a snake and I'm very upset and I've said my business and now I'm off.
Right?
Cool. Fucking cool story, Rob.
You told her youth pastor Rob.
Tommy doesn't go to the reunion. He instead goes to another local bar and he gets rolled up on by Darian's husband, who obviously knows that they've been banging. Tommy says his piece and he leaves. Darian's husband and his friends follow him out. And he literally fucks everyone up until he gets jumped from behind and they beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, and can I just say this?
Corey's gonna teach you not to be a bitch.
Hi. Guy, because it typically happens with guys that have been cheated on.
Yeah.
If you need your boys to help you roll up on the guy that's fucking your wife,
yeah,
maybe you know why your wife is fucking around on you. Just an idea.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the problem yourself, you are part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, if your husband or your wife is cheating on you, they're a piece of shit. If the other person knows that they're married, yeah, the other person's a piece of shit too, but they shouldn't give two shits about you. You know who should? Your spouse.
You're right.
First off, in real life, you fucking killed him because he is knocked unconscious. And
you hit him in the head with a bottle.
You're just open fucking beating the shit out of his face with open shots. Like this. You fucking killed that man.
He's brain dead.
Mush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start there in real world. Second, even if you didn't, you're going to jail for a very long time.
Yes. Oh, no, but nobody wants to call the cops because they don't want to get the cops involved.
No.
Cool.
Why would they ever do that?
FYI, they're not calling the cops. An innocent bystander is calling the cops going, dude, there's some shit going on out here. Like, you need to calm down. Everybody's getting arrested.
Yes.
Whether you want the cops involved or not.
Yes. Chris Cooper is coming down there and arresting everyone until two white girls bailed him out. Tommy's
friends all roll out from the reunion after they find out what happened. They go to the bar. They talk to Tommy. He's a brain dead mess. And they find out what happens from like the bartender.
Oh, they just pull an outsiders here. Like, I half expected him to, like, jump in when they all go to fucking Steve's house at the end and be like, you're not going to have a brawl without me. Like, jump over a car and shit.
I wanted somebody to yell, do it for Tommy, man. Do it for Tommy. So they do it for Tommy, and they all go to Darian's husband's house.
Yep.
And they pull into his driveway. Mo goes in on him.
Hard. Yeah. He's not even talking sense. It's just fucking rage pouring out of this dude. And part of me's like, yeah, you know what? Because Steve's kind of a swarthy like, I know you got cheated on, and you're entitled to your revenge, but also, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, just
Exactly.
everything about you is a bit like your idea to save your marriage is to be a cuck. That's basically going to be your solution in therapy or wherever you
Yes.
go. It's like, I'll
Yeah.
just watch you bang somebody. I don't care. I love you.
Dude's buddies show up, and Willie crashes into them with the snowplow into their car. Mo's about to fuck the dude up, and his daughter comes to the door to basically save his ass. Because Mo is literally 2 seconds away from just ripping dude's head off.
Oh, yeah.
Off his shoulders. So
And he's lucky it was Mo who had him, because Mo's the one that has kids.
yes.
If Rapaport or any of those other guys were there, they would have either, one, just done it, or two, been like, hey, sweetie, go get me a juice box. I'm going to be pretty worn out after I whoop your dad's ass.
Dude, Rapaport would have started beating him in front of the dude's daughter. And as he's beating him, he would have been crying like, my fucking girlfriend doesn't like me.
And what Steve says here pisses me off, because he's like, I'm just trying to save my family, man.
I'm just trying to save my family here, man, all right?
No, you're not. You were trying to flex nuts and get some of your manhood back by having your boyfriends beat the shit out of this guy.
Yes.
The fuck out of here, dude. You're a fucking punk bitch.
Yeah.
I hated every character in this movie. It was astounding.
We then get to the hospital. All of Tommy's friends are there to check on him. Willie decides to go back to New York City with Tracy. Tommy and Jen talk in the hospital room. Tommy realizes that he's been a piece of shit since high school, and they make up, and he finally commits. Cool, I guess.
Yep. And he realizes she's so good and she deserves far better than me, because what? She slept on the fucking hot.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You need some help right now because you got the holy shit kicked out of you. As soon as you have no use for her, you're going to go fuck somebody else's husband or wife.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Paul then drives to Jan's house and clears her driveway this time while he cries in the cab of the truck. And she sees this from her window. And again, like, this is another fragmented scene. Like, I understand the way the scene's written. Like, he does realize, like, oh my God, like, this is my girl and I do love her. Like, I understand the motivation behind the scene. But the scene itself sucks ass because it's just like, again, just a fragmented scene. I'm clearing out the driveway. She looks from the window and she's like, fucking cool, and closes the thing and like walks away. There's no resolution to anything. It's just like, I guess we'll just put this scene here because everybody's learning lessons. Like, fucking, all right.
Pretty
awesome.
much. We had the rights to play Beth. So, gotta fit it in somewhere.
First of all, listen, I do like Kiss as a band. Don't fucking use Beth in this goddamn movie. There's no reason for it. You just disrespected. And the only reason that you were allowed to play it is because Gene Simmons was like, how much am I getting paid to put this song in there? Dope.
We're fucking 13-year-old girls. Here's Beth.
And the movie ends as Willie packs up his girlfriend's car to leave, and Marty comes out and is introduced to Tracy. They all give their hugs, and Willie kisses Marty on the cheek, and they drive away. And then, as the... Again, I don't get... Okay, so we're at the end of the movie, right? Credits are about to roll. Cool, you get this weird Willie, Marty kiss on the cheek thing. You get the weird Michael Rapaport, like, so you're the 13-year-old that Willie wants to bang.
So you're the little neighborhood Lolita.
So you're the alcoholic high school buddy shit for brains.
And then they drive away. Should be the end of the movie. But nope. This movie's got to give one more parting bullshit scene shot of Kevin driving the snowplow up and like, oh, so you're leaving? Cool. Stay cool forever, bro.
Stay cool. Stay cool forever.
What the fuck was that?
Never said that line one time to anyone throughout the movie. That was not the group's catchphrase. That wasn't just his catchphrase. It had nothing to do with the snowstorm. Nothing.
It was like so random.
And it was the worst delivered line I have ever seen in my life. I have never once on this show shit on somebody's acting. But bro, I like that dude. I've seen him in plenty of other shit. But bro, that was fucking horrible delivery of that line.
It was, dude, this whole movie, like, we're like, oh, well, this didn't need to exist, and this scene didn't need to be there, and Kevin's last parting shot of Stay Cool Forever doesn't need to be. This movie didn't need to get made.
No. And it probably shouldn't have been.
No, this movie, I would venture to say, out of all the movies we've reviewed, is one of the worst. With the best cast.
When it was coming to light everywhere but Hollywood, because it's very clear and evident to everyone now that Hollywood isn't standing up for anything, ever, unless it's to lecture us about what we're doing. But when it was starting to come to the public's light that there were rapings happening at Miramax, I have to feel like this was like one of the like main exhibits. Like, oh, this is gross. And seems to be a constant at Miramax. Like, they just keep making these movies. I got nothing good to say about this, dude. Rosie O'Donnell had one good speech. She's in it for 2 scenes. Obviously, all of these actors are pretty great. They have all done far better things. I don't even know what this was a 40-year-old, a legitimate 40-year-old virgin's take on relationships.
Yes. And just an FYI, if you want to watch an actual movie about like high school reunions that is about people still living in the past and is also funny, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion is a better watch than this.
Fuck yeah, it is. That movie was awesome.
I fucking loved that movie. So if you want the living in the past and you got to like impress people at the reunion, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, go watch that versus this. There is never a reason to watch this movie, in my estimation.
No. If you watch Romy and Michelle and you watch Grosse Pointe Blank, you have seen the 2 best high school reunion movies that we will probably have to offer.
Yep.
And if you want to really laugh too, throw in Central Intelligence. It's pretty good too.
I dig that one. And speaking of which, what movies do we have coming up?
We got Howard the Duck, Short Circuit, Swingers, Whiplash, Double Impact, The Specialist. The list is so fucking long. Better Off Dead's coming up. Rocky 1 is coming up in like a month and a half.
Yeah, and I know that was requested. And in the request, they wanted my Italian American take on growing up with Rocky in my life. And I will tell you, there's plenty of good stories.
I'm basically just going to be like sitting here when we do Rocky 1.
Well, that's all I got. We got some good movies coming up. If you want to request movies and jump the line and all that happy stuff, you can go to the link in the description, and that's our PayPal link. Throw us a couple of bones, and we'll do your movie. So, with that said, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1996's Beautiful Girls.